Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. This whole thing about spiritual growth, it's best approached from the most simplest point of view, or you will get lost. You're in there. You know that you're there. You need to go back to that place constantly. Not meditate, you do all that, but I just mean every moment of every day. You're there. You're driving the car. You're listening to somebody. You're taking a shower. You're eating your breakfast. You're always there. When you're dreaming, you are dreaming. You are aware that you are dreaming. Who is this you? That is the basics of the whole thing, beginning to end, start to finish. Who is this you? Who is there? The reason that is so important and that is such a basic part of this is, one, it's simple. You don't have to read anything. If you read something, you're reading it. You who's there are reading the words on the piece of paper. If while you're reading the words on the piece of paper, your thoughts start, so that you're not reading the words on the piece of paper, you had to spacing out watching your thoughts, it's you who's spacing out. God, I just spaced out. Who did? Where'd you go? I don't know. But I went. It's always you. It's what you're doing. You are the indwelling being. All of spirituality is about you. You is in there. That's the only way you are ever going to truly know what's going on. It starts with what's called self-realization. You know yourself as who you are. People have trouble with the body. I don't understand. If I look at that picture, I may like the picture, I may not like the picture. It may be my mother, my father. It doesn't matter. It's not me. Even if it's a picture of me, it's not me. I am the one who's looking at the picture. It's a case of what I call subject-object. You're the subject. That is what you're looking at. That is what's true of your body. I just don't understand your relationship with your body. If you hold out your hand, are you not looking at your hand? Go look at your hand. Who is looking at your hand? It's the same as you looking at a piece of paper. It's a thing you're looking at. It can't be you, because you're the one who's looking at it. No hand, no hand. I am the one who saw no hand, and I am the one who saw hand. When I was 10 years old or 6 years old, my hand wasn't this big. It was small. Guess who looked at the small hand? Me. Were you in there looking? And now and someday you'll look at an old one. You are the seer. You are the indwelling being. You are the one who knows that you are there. That's all. You don't think about it. You just keep it simple. That's me. Now, why is that so important in terms of your everyday life, in terms of the quality of your life and so on? Not just in terms of your spiritual growth. Whatever you are aware of is what you are experiencing. If you're aware of hand, you're experiencing hand. You're aware of blanket, you're experiencing blanket. You're aware of that picture, you're experiencing picture. You're aware of the music that's playing, that's the music that you're experiencing, right? What else would you be experiencing other than what you're experiencing? Since you are the one who's experiencing it, you may have noticed that the quality of your being, of how you feel, of what it's like to be you, is affected by what you're experiencing. It's weird. You could be doing really, really well, and then I put on some music that's very caustic to you, and all of a sudden, you are not doing well. I'm confused. What's it got to do with you? It's music. It's out there. It's noise being made out there. You're in here. I understand that it makes noise and you listen to it, but how can it make you not do well? But it does, doesn't it? And that goes for people, places, things, situations, thoughts. Can you be doing really well and all of a sudden, all by your little self, make a thought that makes you not do so well? Can you have thoughts that bother you? What is that all about? It's all the same thing. If there's music out there bothering you, that's causing you not to do well, if there's a person out there bothering you and making you not do well, if there's a thought in there making you not feel well, it's all the same. It's I'm in here, and there's this thing that I'm aware of. And when I'm aware of it, it is making me not feel well. All right? And every one of us are different. There are different things that make us feel different ways. Very good. These are the basics of what it's like to be you. But you don't pay attention to that. Even though it's true and you know that it's true, you are so freaked out about not doing well that instead of realizing that I'm in here, I'm aware of whatever's in front of me, and it makes me feel different. Well, you should study that. You should figure out, who are you? Why do things make you feel different? Because it's running your life. Your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend do not run your life. How you feel about them runs your life. If all of a sudden they did something or didn't do something and it made you feel weird inside, you wouldn't tell them you love them anymore. You might not even go out with them anymore. It runs your life. The way that these outside or thought objects affect how you're doing, I'm just talking about you who's in there. If you freak out, then what you're going to do is spend your entire life trying to control and manipulate the events that are unfolding in front of you so that you don't have to not feel well. So that sometimes you can feel better and you want to make sure you don't not feel well. It runs your entire life. So you're not living your life. You're just trying to not feel well. Can you relate to that? Anybody willing to? You're trying to not feel well. You're trying to not have anybody say something you don't like. You're trying to not have anybody laugh at what you're wearing. You're trying to have just everything, and you're trying not to burp. Come on, how honest you want to be. Trying not to drop your silverware. Trying not to get some in your clothes. Trying to say something that turns out to be wrong, don't you? Okay, that's really weird. That's how you're going to spend your life. Trying to make it so the things you experience don't make you feel weird. And if you're not careful, you're going to spend your entire life doing that. Every once in a while, something can happen outside or inside, a thought, feeling, or an outside situation that makes you feel really well. All of a sudden, you who's in there like experiencing that. It makes you feel well. So now what you are going to spend your life doing, if you don't listen to me, is you're going to spend your life trying to manipulate and control the world, people, places, things, thoughts, everything around you, so that you don't not feel well, and so that maybe something will happen that makes you feel well. And so you're running around trying to control the environment around you, control what people think, not just what they do. You would get upset if you knew he didn't think well of you, even if you don't know him. So you're just going to catch on that this is what's going on. It's very simple. You're in there. You are aware of whatever is in front of you, be it your thoughts, your feelings, or something in the outside world. And these different thoughts and feelings and outside situations make you have a different experience. Some of them you like the experience, and some of you don't like the experience. And because of that, you end up reacting to every single thing that comes in front of you, and then you get to the point where you don't wait for it to be in front of you. Your mind starts thinking about how to make sure it doesn't get in front of you. So now you're not even living the real world. You're living your mind's fear that something might happen that makes you not feel good. Can you relate to that? I'm going to repeat that one. You're living your thoughts that are afraid that later something might happen, somebody might do something, and later it might be 20 years from now, by the way. It's just amazing what you will do to your life if you don't pay attention. So, what spirituality is about, what it means to wake up, is you wake up and realize, I am in here. I'm in here. Of course I want to be happy. Of course I want to feel well. But as long as all of these outside situations and thought patterns and feelings from my heart, my emotions, as long as I can't handle those, that's what it comes down to. As long as I get really weird if my heart feels a certain thing, or get really weird if certain thoughts start to come inside of me, or get really weird if a certain person comes in front of me, or if the weather gets a certain way, or if somebody passes me on the road, or somebody beeps at me because I was using my smartphone and didn't get off the light right away. If all of these situations have the ability to make me get weird, I'll just use that word, how's that? All right, maybe you feel weird inside, I get weird, then I'm in big trouble. So what I need to learn to do, I'm going to cut right to the chase. It's not that you need to learn to get the world a certain way. It's not that you need to learn to make your mind, thoughts be a certain way. It is not that you have to learn to make your heart be a certain way. It's that you in there have to learn to be able to handle whatever your heart does. Ooh, I'm getting tough with you. Your heart can create different emotions, can't it? Have you noticed? It emotes, creates different emotions. Can you handle that? No. You need to learn to. You need to learn to. Why? Because if you can't handle reality, you're in big trouble. And your heart has the ability. You ever feel your heart feel embarrassed? Just get that weird feeling of self-conscious and embarrassed. You okay with that? Be honest. Of course not. You need to learn to be. If you want to be something great, and that's what I want of you, I want you to be great, you can't let this stuff run your life. You can't let the fact that your heart can create an emotion or react to what somebody does that you can't handle. You can't handle yourself. You can't handle living there. Because if you do, you will react of trying to behave or say or do something to make it so that you can handle it. And the next thing you know, you're not doing anything with your life except avoiding bad feelings. In essence, you are afraid of yourself. If you're afraid of emotions that can come up for your heart, you're afraid of thoughts that can start inside your head. And you're afraid of situations that happen outside because they can cause the emotions and thoughts to be a certain way. And all of a sudden, if you're not careful, you will walk around scared. All you have to do is start working on yourself. You catch on, what do you mean I will start to? I'm scared to death. Okay, you're scared to meet somebody new. You're scared to give a talk in public. You're scared to put the blouse on. It might be the wrong one. You're scared to buy a new car because maybe you won't like it later. You're scared. You're scared to get older. Why? I might get lines and gray hairs, and people are scared of everything. What they're scared of is that something will happen in their life, because it does all the time, that is going to cause an emotion to come up from their heart or cause a pattern of thoughts to happen in their mind that they are not okay with. It's not what's happening in the outside world. It is what is happening inside of you that is determining the quality of your life. So all this work of trying to control an outside world is futile. It's absurd. It is what you are experiencing inside that you are living with. So if you got yourself into a state, this is where I want you to get. I do, because I care about you. I would love to see you when you reach the state that you said to me, I've been at this for a while. I've noticed my heart is weird. I don't know about yours. That's a weird thing. You never know what it's going to shoot out next, okay? It just makes these emotions. My heart is an emotion-making machine. How about yours? And it just bubbles up. They bubble up. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's kind of fun. Kind of interesting, like a video game. Pac-Man's trying to eat me. There's just things coming up, and the question becomes, can I handle them? Can I be okay with it? Me who's in here. So I started the conversation with you. You are in here aware of what's going on. One of the things you're aware of is that your heart is creating emotions. Instead of having to manipulate and control the world so that your heart doesn't create the emotions you don't want ever, which is a lot of work, trying to control everybody to be exactly the way you want so your heart doesn't do what you don't want. Can I repeat that one? Listen to me, because this is what you're doing every moment of your life. Trying to manipulate and control everyone you know so that they don't do anything that makes your heart do what you don't want it to do. That's a tough life. That's rather overwhelming. Instead, you get to the point where you say, I am going to learn to be comfortable with whatever emotion my heart can create. First of all, do you know you're capable of that? You're capable. You're just the consciousness. Like, let's say I said to you, I'm going to put some pictures in front of you. What do I need to do? Just let me put them in front of you. Yeah, but what do I need to do? You get an A if you let me put the pictures in front of you. Which pictures? None of your business. Well, which one will you put next? None of your business. What are they about? None of your business. Your business is to sit there and let me put pictures in front of you. Can you do it? You better say yes, because you're not doing anything. You understand that? All I'm doing is putting flashcards in front of you. And if you can let me do that, you get an A. How about you get $1 million? Here, and I got more interesting. If you let me hold up whatever pictures I want for an hour, whatever pictures they are, and you sit there and be okay with it, and then get up and say, oh, that was boring. I just sat here for an hour, you get $1 million. Can you do it? Of course you can do it. Why would you not be able to do it? You're not doing anything. That is how you get about your emotions. I've never talked to you like this. Who's willing to listen? They are just flashcards that are coming up. Here's jealousy, here's fears, here's insecurity, here's love, they're just the heart. Do you have a heart that creates emotions? Yes or no? Have you noticed that? They just, they come out. And who knows why they come out when they come out? You can never tell. One time you get around somebody, feels all this love. Next time you go around the exact same person, it doesn't feel so good. It does do that, doesn't it? It just creates emotions. It creates things. It does that. So basically, you finally get to the point where you realize, I don't care what you do. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care who you're married to. I don't care. Your heart is going to create emotions, and some of them are not comfortable to you. And you could be the president of whatever, and rich as could be. But if there are still things that can freak you out, you're going to spend your life trying to make them not happen. And you just wasted your life. That is not a productive life. Here's what I consider a productive life. I don't know you well. So I say to you, what would you like to go? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do with your life? And you say to me, I want to be a nurse. I want to do this. I want to get married and have children. I don't care what it is. Whatever the heck it is, just tell me what you're inspired. What if you had no fear? There was nothing holding you back. What would you like to do? Because right now, what's holding you back are your fears and your insecurities and all this kind of junk. What if you could say it? Now, if you say it, I'm not going to guarantee it's going to happen, but it's fun doing it. It's fun going for it. It's inspiring. Do you understand that? You don't have to reach the dream. It's fun trying. What's not fun is to run around in a cage of your own making, trying to avoid getting hurt. That is not a fun way to live your life. So you start looking at what I want to do. Now, what I'm interested in is that if you decide to do that, that all of a sudden somebody shoots you down, says, no, you're not good enough. You can't have a job. This job. So what? So what? That's part of the process. That's part of the game. That's part of trying. That's part of going out there. It doesn't mean anything. But my heart felt insecure, and I started to feel like I wasn't good enough. Started to feel like, I don't want that to happen to you. Your heart was open. You were inspired. You were driven to have fun. Go for it, all right? Now all of a sudden, because somebody said something or something happened, your heart does what hearts do. Doesn't it? It can do that, can't it? Can dark stuff come out of that heart? Ever been there? It can get really interesting, can't it? I can't guarantee you that the world's going to behave a certain way so that nothing happens like that. But I can guarantee you that if you can't handle that, then you will fail at what you decided you wanted to do. But not because of what happened, but because you couldn't handle what your heart did. So what you learn to do in real spiritual growth is not control the heart, not control the people. Learn to sit back in the seat of self, your awareness of being, and sit there and say, I have a heart. It creates emotions. That's okay with me. Did you hear me? Reality is okay with me. I have a heart that creates emotions. They come and they go, don't they? I am not going to let that run my life or ruin my life. It is just something that happens, and I'm comfortable with that. It's the same as Mickey's flashcards. For $1 million, I sat there for an hour and let him show whatever pictures came up in the flashcards. I was fine. Fine. For $1 million, I'm fine. What I'm saying to you is, for joy and ecstasy and enthusiasm and excitement and inspiration for your entire life, handle what your heart throws up. It's a flashcard, okay? Then you will never get sidetracked because of these human weaknesses. The day you can handle your heart, what does that mean? I've been around the block. I have had numerous things happen. I have watched my heart with great interest and great respect to see I have a human heart. Was it the straw man or the tin man that wanted the heart? Who remembers? Tin man, thank you. All right? So I got one. You got one in there? You have a human heart? You're good and human, isn't it? All right? And different events happen, and it causes this beautiful thing I have inside of my chest, this human heart, to create emotions. And I'm okay with that. I've seen them. I've seen them high. I've seen them low. I've seen them every single way they can come, and I think they're neat. I'm glad I have a heart, and I'm glad that they do those things. I'm okay with it. You should have seen I've taken this girl, I dated her 3 times, right? And I went to a party, and it was wonderful. Then she started dancing with somebody, and I mean, dancing really close, right? Oh, my God, you should have seen my heart. It was like I was a teenager again. All this jealousy started coming out of my heart. It was so funny. It was green. And you just are okay with it. It's not that things don't happen. It's that you're okay with them. You know what happens if you're okay with them? Nothing. Okay? It's like it rained today. Is that okay with you? What's it got to do with me? It rained. I had that experience. I like having experiences. How about you? Right? I like having experiences. They're beautiful. They're fun. They're exciting. That's what it means to transcend your heart. Doesn't mean you don't have love. What you're going to find out is that right now, because you can't handle your heart, you devote your life to controlling and manipulating everything around you so that your heart doesn't feel the things you can't handle, and so it does feel the things that you like. That's it. So now you're struggling, you're fighting, you wake up in the morning worrying. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't. I wouldn't do it for $7 billion for a minute. There's no way. I am sitting there taking the weakest part of my being, which is I can't handle my own heart, and then trying to manipulate all my friends and everybody around me, not to mention my spouse, boyfriend or girlfriend, to try to make them be the way that my heart can be handled by me. I'm not going to do that. So instead, you get to the point where you can handle your heart. Now what happens? Now you don't have to do that other stuff. The very fact that I'm able to handle the different things that my heart can exude, and they just come and they go, means I get to devote my life to what I want to devote my life to. I get to devote my life to something meaningful. I get to devote my life to what inspired me, what turned me on. Okay? I want to be a musician. I want to be a teacher. I want to be this, okay? But I'm not terribly good at it. Okay, I'll try. I'll work at it and I'll have fun doing it and I'll have fun trying. And you all may call me a failure. You're wrong. If on my deathbed, I laid down and I spent my entire life trying to be a musician, and it was fun and I tried different places and I never ever made it to Carnegie Hall, all right? I didn't do anything, but I enjoyed every minute of my life. I enjoyed every night taking out my saxophone or taking out the violin or whatever it was I was playing. And if it was just with a bunch of guys or gals, whatever the heck it is, it was fun. I was inspired and I loved every moment of what I was doing. I didn't measure it by the fact that I got disappointed once in a while, that people, didn't show me the respect. The heart didn't act like I was being respected the way I wanted to. I was able to handle that. And because I could handle myself, I got to enjoy my life. That now, what's going to happen, I'm going to go way ahead right now. If you don't have to tend to your heart, you don't know what that means? Tend to your heart, all right? If you can't handle something, you have to tend to it, don't you? All right? So now you're spending all of your consciousness trying to handle the fact that you can't handle your heart. If you don't have to do that, you become what's called a liberated being. That is what liberation means. Don't make it mystical or weird. It means I have been bound to myself. Why? Because I can't handle myself. Do you understand that? If you can't handle things, then you have to devote yourself to trying to be okay with them, to trying to do something about them. If you can handle things, then you're fine. I don't like to tell you this because maybe you won't come anymore, but there are snakes out here. We see snakes sometimes. Coral snakes, water moccasins, rattlesnakes. I have lived here for 45 years. No one has ever gotten bit by a snake. That's amazing, right? Or this whole snake thing is way blown out of proportion, all right? But the net result is, if I can handle snakes, I can handle the fact that, there may be a snake out there when I'm walking around. You deal with it. It's fine. You're grown up. You're a grown up. You've seen, literally coral snakes are very, very poisonous. We see them all the time. They never bothered anybody, ever, right? They're pretty. Just don't pick them up. Okay? But the net result is you get to the point where you realize, it's cool, I'm okay, it's cool, I don't have to worry about this. If you're not like that, you can't walk out here. I've seen people like that. No, I can't go out on the grass because there could be a snake out there. I can't do that. You limited your life. You put yourself inside of a cage. Because you can't handle something, you must tend to it. That's what I just said, isn't it? If you can handle it, you don't have to tend to it. You get to do something else. You get to go play volleyball. You get to have fun. You get to do what you want to do. It is the same thing with your heart. If you can't handle your heart, then you have to tend to it. Then you have to control and manipulate everything around you so it doesn't do something that makes your heart emote something you can't handle. There, I said it straight. If you can handle your heart, can handle it. Just I've been around the block. It's done everything it can do. I've seen about everything it can throw up. I think it's interesting. It's kind of cute, right? If you can handle it, then you don't have to do that. You're like unemployed. You are liberated. That's what I'm telling you. If you never understood, that is what liberation means. You are liberated from the job of having to tend to yourself. So this becomes the key. And I just said heart. It's heart and mind. Not world. Why didn't you say world? Because you don't care right now about the world. Not one of you do. You're already free from that. You care about how the world makes your mind and your heart feel. Can the world make your heart and mind do different things? That's funny. It goes, you're going crazy in there. It says hello to you. What does he mean by that? What do you think? Why didn't he say it like he did yesterday? It doesn't say hello to you. Why didn't he say hello to me? Every single thing that happens freaks you out. Somebody beeps at you. They're behind you at the light. And you didn't get off the light quickly. Why's he beep at me? What I do? Nobody hears you doing that. Nobody hears you talking. It's just, what's wrong with him? Everything's such a rush. And then if it's the same person and you're at the next light and they pull up next to you this time, you don't want to look. You stay a little behind so you don't pull right next to you. Do you like being that weird? I'm serious. Do you like being that weird? Come on, man. Somebody went beep. And it ran the next hour of your life. Who's willing to tell the truth? Ever have a conversation with somebody, friend, anybody, and then you walk away and you find that you're kind of like judging what you said and why'd you say it and what was meant by this, or should you have said it or didn't say it, giving yourself a hard time about your conversation? I dare you to check it out. Do you like being like that? Do you like devoting your life to this fear, this insecurity? The world can cause your mind to do different things. It does. And it can cause your heart to do different things. Your mind can cause your heart to do different things. Your heart can cause your mind to do different things. That's what's going on. This interaction changes your thoughts and your heart. It is the interaction between you and your thoughts and your heart that you care about. You don't care about the world. As long as you're doing okay with your thoughts and your emotions inside, you think the world's a wonderful place. The moment the world does something that makes your thoughts and emotions be a way that you can't handle, it's overwhelming. I can't handle it. So you get to the point where you realize, I'm saving you years and years and years of anguish. It's all about your relationship with your thoughts and emotions. It's not about your thoughts and emotions. It's about your relationship to your thoughts and emotions. If you who's in there that is aware of your thoughts and emotions, you all do have them, don't you, are comfortable with your thoughts and emotions, I'm telling you, you can have fun everywhere you go. You don't have to worry about all these things. You don't have to get weird. You get to it's simple. Life becomes simple. You just do what you're doing. You're sitting there talking to somebody, and you're explaining something, and all of a sudden they say, oh, I got to go. Oh, boy, that's the end of your week. I wasn't interested enough to keep their attention. I never want to see them again. That was rude. What are you doing? They had to go. They went. Can you handle it? No. Notice it's not that you couldn't handle that they left. It's that you can't handle your own thoughts and emotions because of what happened with that situation. Fair enough? All right. Now what? You need to learn to. And what's going to happen is the more you learn to, the less you have to tend to them. Well, what do I do then? You start to experience what's called the nature of your being. Instead of experiencing all this stuff that's going on in your heart or your mind, you start to realize, I'm in here. I don't have to do this work with my heart and mind anymore. I swear to God, people think that what spiritual means is your mind never swears and your heart only feels love. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with what we just talked about. Can you handle whatever your heart has to say? Can you handle whatever your mind has to say? If you can, then you don't have to tend to them. They get to just do their little thing, and you get to do what we call remain established in the seat of self. There's nothing pulling you out. I walked into a room, there's all kinds of things to do, but there's a TV on in the corner. Can I handle the fact that there's some shows on that kind of catch my attention a little bit? Or do I have to walk over, sit down, and leave the room by getting involved in the TV show? Because I did leave the room, didn't I? You are experiencing, back to where I started, you're experiencing wherever your consciousness is. So if I sit down and start watching TV, I'm not in the room. I'm not with other people, am I? I'm in the TV. If I can handle it, and it doesn't keep catching my attention and pulling me into it, then I get to experience everything that's going on. instead of that one thing. It's the same thing with your heart and emotions. If I can handle whatever my heart is doing and handle whatever my mind is doing, then I don't have to sit down and watch them. I don't have to sit there driving, weirded out about what my mind and heart are saying. Very few people know what happens if you do that. Somebody who can handle their heart and emotions to the point that they don't have to get involved in them, that they get to stay being who they are, the consciousness, the awareness, is considered a high being. It's considered, right? Why? Because when you don't get pulled down into your thoughts and emotions, you remain seated in the sense of being. And that's what all of Zen is about. That's what all of spirituality is about. You start experiencing what they say, your Buddha nature. You experience the nature of your being. Who are you who's paying attention to these thoughts and emotions? Not what are the thoughts and emotions. But again, to belabor the point, if you can't handle the thoughts and emotions, there is no you. You'll get lost in the thoughts and emotions. The minute they get weird, you're gone. But if you can handle it, nothing ever again pulls you out of this sense of being. I am here, and there are thoughts and emotions over there. Fine, have fun. Hope you have a nice day. Go about your business. All right? Now what? Now you get to experience the nature of your being. It just so happens that the nature of your being is the highest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. When Christ said, as I sit by the throne of my Father, you shall sit by my throne. As I do these things and even greater things. When Krishna talked about knowing me as I really am, all of them are talking about the state that the moment you are able to remain established in the seat of your being and you don't get pulled out by your thoughts and emotions, you start to get pulled up. You literally start to get pulled up. It's like a vacuum is in there pulling you into it. And you just start to let go. And there's this entire universe inside of you, right? That is extremely beautiful. And you start feeling love for no reason. You just feel waves of love and joy and light and beauty because that is the nature of your being. In the East, we call it Satchidananda. Eternal conscious ecstasy is the nature of your being. All right? So basically, this whole thing about being able to handle, right now we're talking about handling yourself or handling your thoughts and emotions, is both how to have a beautiful life in the world, because then you can devote yourself to something higher than the weakest part of your being, and also it is your entire spiritual ascent. Fine. So here we spent almost the entire hour trying to convince you that you should be doing this. How hard is it to do this? It's not hard. How hard is it to play the piano? Well, if you practice and you devote yourself to it, anybody can at least reasonably play. How hard is it to play tennis or ping pong? If you devote yourself to it and you really try and practice and get lessons and do different things, you can get reasonably good at anything, can't you? Same thing here. Of course, right now you can't do it. You never tried. You're so busy manipulating and controlling everybody else so they don't make your heart and emotions do things that bother you that you've never tried to see, why don't I just learn to handle my thoughts and emotions? Instead of trying to make sure that nobody does anything that makes me feel jealous or insecure, why don't I learn to handle jealousy and insecurity? Instead of being afraid of it. Because it's part of life, isn't it? You're going to feel things, guys. It's not about not feeling things. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's not about changing your feelings so they're always nice the way you want them to be. It is about you being comfortable with whatever the natural state that your heart can throw at you. Once you have conquered and transcended your heart, you are free to work on higher things. So how do you do that? First, you start by saying, this makes a lot of sense. This is what I want to do. Like, all I want is for you to be happy. All I want is that you be happy every single moment for the rest of your life. I'm not asking much. I told you what I want. I want that you wake up in the morning and giggle. And then you don't have a single fear in your mind, not one single fear. You're not playing around what you say wrong last time, what you might do wrong here. You just giggle. It's like, wow, I get another day to play on the planet Earth. That's all it is play. Nothing can go wrong. It's just play. And then you go through the day enjoying all the different experiences you're having, including the ones that make you feel insecure and the ones that make this happen or that happen. They're just like smells in the breeze. You know, they just pass right by. It's nothing. It doesn't matter. You get to remain you and have a good time doing things. There. That's what I want for you. All right? Then go out and be a doctor or be a nurse or be a hippie. I don't care. Please have a good time. You drop down on the finest planet that exists in the entire universe as far as we know. It's really a special place. and it's just floating out the middle of nowheres. Are you having fun yet? The answer is to 99% of the people, oh, I was supposed to be having fun? Well, of course you can't have fun. I can't handle myself, therefore I can't have fun. All right. Now, how do you learn to handle yourself? Don't worry about the big stuff. Just start with the small stuff. Somebody beeps at you. You don't want to be somebody that can't handle the beep, do you? So you say, I am going to learn to handle the beep. I'm going to learn to handle that it's raining when I wanted to go camping. I'm going to learn to handle that sometimes my car doesn't start, or sometimes it looks old when other people drive new ones. I'm going to start to handle, and I draw a line. Here's how I draw the line. I did this to Mickey a long time ago. There's two types of problems in this world. One is a real problem. Mickey, the house is on fire. Oh, I can handle that. No. The house is on fire, kid. There are things that can happen in the outside world that you need to deal with. All right? Then there's 99% of all the other things that are what I call self-generated problems. Mary didn't call. I wonder why she didn't call. What are you doing? You created that. You did that. This person's this is like that. Oh, I have to wear glasses now. I think I look dorky. Oh, I thought this was a certain kind of party and I didn't dress a certain way. These are just psychological problems. They're not real. Here's a litmus test. If you could handle it, it wouldn't be a problem. That's not true of the house burning. That's something, irregardless of your little weirdness, is a problem. You got to deal with this. But do you know that 99% of your problems are self-generated? They're because you can't handle your thoughts and emotions. There, as long as I gave this talk, that's what your problem is, that you can't handle this particular emotion that's going inside of you, or this thought that's happening inside of you. The other litmus test is this. If I can handle it and let it go, will there be anything for me to do? Sally walked by, didn't say hello. Oh, I didn't tell you. Oh my God, what did I do? I wonder if she found out about the time I talked to George. Junk's going on in there. Okay, let's say you could just let it go. I handle it. Now, is there anything to do? No, it's gone. Sally walked by. Those are the two litmus tests. Is it something that you're creating inside yourself? It's a self-generated problem. And is it something that if you just let it go, it's gone? So you just start saying to yourself, I'm going to learn to be nice to myself. It's bad enough that I have to deal with different situations, real problems that happen outside. I don't need to be creating all these problems inside myself. And so you learn to stop doing it. How do you stop doing it? It's like a bad habit. It's like stop smoking. It's like anything else. You see yourself starting to do this. Sally walks by and doesn't say hello. Now, you know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, you're going to freak out when you start noticing how sick you make yourself. You do, don't you? I can tell whether you're listening or not by how much you blush. How much trouble do you give yourself from the time you wake up in the morning to go to bed at night? Wait till you see. Just watch. And so basically you sit there and say, I'm going to stop doing that. So Sally walks by, and all of a sudden the little baby in there starts making noise. Just making you feel bad about everything. You were doing well. Sally walks by, now you're not doing well. Sally didn't even say anything. She didn't do it. You can't blame her. She just walked by. You did it. And so you decide, I'm not going to do this. How do you not do this? Your first attempt will be to do something with Sally. I could call her and find out why she walked by without saying hello. But I don't want to do that because maybe she didn't notice me and I don't want to sound like I'm grabby her. I call that neurosis. There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. One of them just walked by you. Are you telling me you can't handle that? Yeah. That's what I thought. So maybe we need to work on this a little bit, all right? So you sit there and say, no, I'm not going to externalize this because I guarantee you, wait till you see. If you created the problem within yourself and you try to solve it by externalizing it, have you noticed you make such a mess? It just gets worse. There's nothing good that's going to come out of running after Sally saying, why didn't you say hello? Didn't you notice me? You can't do that. You can't do that. You created the problem. You need to solve the problem. So the next thing you'll try to do is, I don't feel comfortable, you'll try to suppress it. Don't do that. It doesn't work. You can't push your thoughts and emotions away. I never said that. I said you have to be able to handle them. I didn't say get rid of them. I didn't say deny them. That's such a fine line that people have trouble with. People say, I have to accept my thoughts and emotions, and they get in bed with them. They start being that person. Oh, yeah, I had to be honest. I did feel this jealousy. I was just letting you know how I felt. No, you are neither giving in to them, participating in them, nor are you suppressing them. It's about you handling them. About you're saying, oh, look, there's this discomfort, this insecurity, fear of rejection, because Sally walked by and apparently didn't say hello. Am I okay with that? That's your question. Not what do I do about it. If it's a self-generated problem, you're not doing anything about it. Am I okay with this? And you just start saying yes. So you learn to let it go. I'm going to learn to be more comfortable with these different things that come and go inside of me. So you just start to relax. I told you last time, lean away from the weird feeling. Don't push it away. If you push it away, you are suppressing. It will come back in spades. It's like anything you try to stop, the power builds up. Stop a river from flowing. You better build a dam. You better keep it going. If you push it away, you didn't let the energy pass. It builds up. If you get into it, it's just going to get stronger and stronger. The person who's trying to stop smoking or stop doing drugs feels better when they, screw that, I'm just going to do it. Oh, feels so much better now, that cigarette. Yeah, well, fine. I'm not going to comment on it, right? It's the same thing. If you give in to those energies and those emotions, they will destroy you. If you suppress them, they will destroy you. So what do? Relax. Relax means I can handle this. But what if I can't? Think about what I said when I said, if I hold the pictures in front of you, can you handle it? No. What kind of person can't handle if I put the pictures in front of you? You don't want to be that person. So basically, you just say, yes, I can. That's it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And you relax. But I can't relax. Why? You're the only one in there. Why can't you relax? And what you mean when you say I can't relax is, well, it won't relax. You're trying to make the emotion relax. You're trying to make your mind relax. No, I don't care about your mind or emotion. I care about you. You're in there. You relax. Practice. Practice makes perfect. You relax and lean away from it. And little by little, you're going to find you're stronger than you thought you were. Everybody is stronger than they thought they were. Literally, than they thought they were. Because your mind tells you you're not strong. Your mind says, you can't do this. You know you can't do this. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. You better pay attention to me. Your mind's trying to make you get involved in it. You just relax and release. Now, if you can't do that, there are things you can do in between, which I usually don't talk to you about. They fall into the category of techniques, and I think you need to go out and find your own techniques that work for you. There's lots of them. But there's some really basic things that you all can do if you're not doing anything else. Somebody beeps, Sally walks by, it starts to get weird in there. I find myself getting close to getting caught up in it. It's strong. I want to let go, and all that, it's getting like that, right? It's like a struggle in there. Shouldn't be a struggle. You just relax. You do not have to participate in a thought or emotion. Nobody can make you. If I'm holding up the picture, you don't have to do anything. Just relax. The picture cannot make you not be able to relax. It is exactly the same with your thoughts and emotions. They cannot make you get involved in them. So you just relax. Now, let's say you're not there yet, and this thing's causing you trouble, okay? Then you can do different things. For example, breathing. Breathing is actually a really powerful technique that can take you a long way. Just start watching your breath. You notice it goes in and out. Your breath goes in and out all the time. How often have you watched it? I'm supposed to watch it? Yeah, watch it. Why? Because it's a steady thing that doesn't get weird like your thoughts and emotions. It's always there, breathing in and out. Just when it starts to get weird in there, it's called center on your breath. Ground yourself on your breath. Just watch it go in and out. And the next thing you're going to know is you're quieter, you're more relaxed. Every single time. It's going to happen. Why? Because you took your consciousness and you let it get involved in something other than your thoughts and emotions. That's all we're doing. It's not mystical. It's just literally, right now, you're having trouble not getting involved in your thoughts and emotions. Well, why did Sally not do that? I would never treat her like that. I wouldn't. All that kind of junk's going on in there. Instead, that very act just shifted your consciousness onto something a lot more pleasant than those thoughts and emotions. And the next thing you know, if you'll do that, is they will go. They will pass. If you don't hang out with them, they will not stay there. They need your attention, your energy, in order to get the juice they need to keep causing trouble. So you keep letting go. You start practicing with that. I told you before, another way, if you want to, goes under the topic of mantra. You start saying a word and make it be your favorite word. I told you, I used to use God. Use whatever you want. I couldn't care less. Love, anything you want. Now, don't use somebody's name because you might break up with them. This has to be something that transcends everything else in your life. That's why I used to start saying God, 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 whatever you want, all right? But say it and get in the habit when you're driving your car, when you're taking a shower. Just spend a little time building a habit inside your mind that goes like a song that won't stop, right? A word that goes on and on. What good does that do? Now Sally walks by, the whole mind starts going berserk. You have a choice. Do I want to get involved in the mind saying, why did she do that? Or God, God, God. You just gave your consciousness an alternative place to go instead of getting caught up in the monkey mind. It's kind of neat, isn't it? That's what all these techniques are. Well, what's meditation? I don't teach meditation. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But I want you to do it. I want you to learn to do it. But this is how I define meditation. You take 15 minutes morning and evening, and you put it aside, preferably the same time, and you do what? You practice not listening to your thoughts and emotions. Not you stop your thoughts and emotions. Don't do that. That's a battle. Now all of a sudden meditation becomes a struggle, and you say, I can't do it. I can't do it because you think it's supposed to get quiet in there. I would never teach meditation that way. It's supposed to be whatever it is in there. This is a time you put aside to focus on not listening. Right? You sit down and meditate, tell your heart, okay, free reign. Tell your mind, free reign. I'm just going to sit back here and watch. That's it. And wait till you see what happens. And you practice. You practice not getting caught up in your thoughts and emotions. And then all of a sudden you start to drift back into these states naturally. And it'll start to happen all day. You'll sit down and all of a sudden you're getting pulled back in this beautiful, thick peace. Why? Because that is the nature of your being. And if you're not getting involved in those thoughts and emotions, you're going to start to experience the nature of who you are. And so by practicing, by putting some time aside, and I want you to see it as practicing being you, not shutting up the mind. It is not mind control. It's not fighting with your emotions. It is, I'm in here, and yes, I share the bungalow with some thoughts and emotions. How about you? There's other stuff going on in there, and I'm okay with it. And by practice, that's what meditation, practicing being okay. That's a lot more fun, isn't it? All right? Then there's no such thing as a bad meditation. If you come to me and you sit there and say, Mickey, I can't meditate. I say, why? So I just keep saying I have these terrible meditations. My mind just won't stop. You know what I'm going to say to you? You just told me that you sat there for 15 minutes and watched your mind not stop. Wow, that's high stuff. Because you don't do that all day. You get all involved in it. You don't all day sit there and say, look what my mind said. You be it. Now you've put some time aside. Every single time you do it, it is benefiting you. It doesn't matter what happens. Just the fact that your intention during that time, intention when you're practicing tennis is to get your backhand better. Intention when you're playing music is to get better at music. The intention of sitting down to meditate is to practice being okay with whatever can go on inside of you. And if you do it during practice, you're going to see it spreads throughout your life. And all of a sudden you can actually handle things. Somebody walks up to you, the big one. Your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend walked up to you and say, I'm just not getting from the relationship what I used to and what I wanted to. I want to talk to you about where we're going with this. How's the heart do when you hear that kind of thing? It goes going. All right? And how are you doing? Okay, we'll have a talk. Let's see where this goes. You're fine. You understand that? I want you to be fine when you have that talk. I don't want you to be weird. I don't want you, how could you do this to me? Oh my God. That's the exact thing that the guy's talking about. I want you to be there. You don't break up every day. I want you to be there. I want you to be present. I want you to experience what it's like to feel that fear and loss that goes on in the heart and watch what the mind does. But to be there. And now I want you to interact with that person, care about that person. They're trying to tell you something. They're not really trying to hurt you. They're trying to tell you that they're not doing well, that they're having a problem. But you don't hear that. You hear your problem. When you can handle you and you don't have to pay all of that attention to you, you can actually listen to what the other person's saying, even in a situation like that. And all of a sudden you can maybe find a way to work these things out. But that's not going to happen if they're freaked out and you're freaked out. You just get all freaky. All right. So the whole focus tonight was it is all about you being able to handle you. Handle your heart, handle your emotions. You do that by practicing. You do that by wanting to. And the more you can handle, the less you need to manipulate and control everybody else, until eventually you become free of yourself. And when you're free of yourself, you're free to serve. You're free to participate in life, not avoid and fight and so on. So I would like you to work with these things. And I don't care if it takes 30 years. You are better off 30 years from now than you would have been if you didn't. It's not an all or nothing. Every single time you grow a little bit, you're a wholer person. You're less fearful. All right? I hope you understand these things. Chakradev.